strong advocate for diversity in Major League Baseball. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to announce that, like George and Weezy,
we're moving on now.
Earlier this year, we were named as semifinalists for the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025. Wait for it. Wait for it.
You ready?
KBLA Talk 1580 was recently selected as one of 10 finalists being considered for this prestigious award. Hundreds of organizations, institutions, and even cities were nominated in the selection process. But KBLA Talk 1580 has made it to the finals. You're invited to watch live on Wednesday, April 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, as Eco America announces the winner and the runner-up, awarding over $200,000 in prize money. To watch live, just go to ecoamerica.org to register and attend the online ceremony. That's ecoamerica.org. Don't miss the presentation of the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025, Wednesday, April 16th, and wish us luck. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Man, I feel like money. Man, I feel like money. Attracted to me. They come around like honey. They come around like honey. 'Cause I fly like a bee. Man, I got them all buzzing.
Welcome to Wealth Building Wednesdays, where we center Black, women, and BIPOC-owned businesses, highlight opportunities and initiatives for underrepresented entrepreneurs, and center socially innovative enterprises, building generational prosperity, fostering real networking, and recycling Black dollars. It's Wealth Building Wednesdays on KBLA Talk 1580.
It sure is, and I'm happy to welcome into the studio my favorite when folks come in and break it down for Wealth Building Wednesday, a economic development practitioner and senior program officer at LISC, which stands for Local Initiative Support Corporation. He leads the team there for economic development and things like Ascend LA, which is what we are going to focus on today. Jabbar Wesley, welcome.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to be here, Dominique. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Absolutely. So lots of initials, LISC and Ascend and this and that. So let's start with Ascend LA, because that's what brings you in today. And this is something new that's launching, right?
Well, it's not new. This is our fifth cohort.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. So it's been around, but we made some tweaks along the way. Again, my name is Jabbar Wesley with LISC LA. I manage our economic development programs. LISC LA, I'll just start with LISC LA. We are a community development organization, a part of a national network. We've made investments locally, about $200 million, into just building small businesses and helping those businesses and folks create wealth. In regards to Ascend LA, we are essentially, the work that I do is help these businesses get in a position to access capital, coaching, as well as contract opportunities. And there's a lot of excitement around the Olympics and things like that. So we just want to get these businesses in a position where they can access this economic opportunity.
Right, so you can get beyond excitement around the Olympics and get to opportunity around the Olympics.
Get to the wealth.
Right, get to that wealth. So a business accelerator is really what Ascend is, right? Mm-hmm. So is that just like education? You're teaching me how to be an entrepreneur? Is that what it mostly consists of?
I would frame it in this way. It's not I wouldn't say it's a training or, you are getting educated. We have a partner with Loyola Marymount. You get access to world-class faculty that's teaching you those things that are missing in your businesses, trying to put the pieces together, obviously. But it's a business development program. It's a profit maximization program. It's a program that, you're immediately getting assessed. Your business is getting assessed to see what's missing. What do you need to actually get in a position to compete, win these big contracts, but not just compete and win these contracts. We want you to be able to fulfill it. You have that capacity.
Right. You got to be able to level up.
Exactly.
I feel like that's where a lot of, especially Black-owned businesses, fall down. We do make or do whatever we make or do as a service, but then when you need 5 million of them, we might not have the capital or the capacity. Yeah, in terms of infrastructure.
Yeah. So those, these businesses, they're I want to speak to the small business that's kind of has things, going. You're doing revenue, you're getting the revenue, generating the revenue, but you can't get to that next level. It's missing pieces. You can't figure it out how to get those contracts and identify those opportunities. So this is the program for that individual. You can just get in there and they'll do the hand holding and get you competing. It's a 6-month program. By month 4 or 5, you're bidding on these RFPs. These
request for proposal.
Yes.
Which is usually that's how you get into a contract with the city or a county. Are Black businesses and BIPOC businesses in general, Black ones in particular, leaving money on the table?
Exactly. That's kind of what we're saying. With the sin is we try to tackle that problem where, like I said, you're generating revenue. Like I said, the range for the type of businesses that we're looking at typically is businesses that are generating anywhere between $1 million and $2 million, so 7-figure businesses.
Right. So, but still on the smaller side.
Yeah, those are small businesses.
Yeah, they're
sure.
small businesses. Yeah. So why would LISC, why would Ascend care if we maximize our profits?
We would care. That's our mission, right? Our mission, like I said, we're trying to get people access to capital, coaching, and contract opportunities with this program, and at the end of the day, it's about wealth building, and that's our mission,
we're in a period of time where DEI has become, the new N-word, and it seems like there are aggressive actions being taken to remove opportunities for Black people, also women and others, but primarily the anti-Blackness is you can cut it with a knife right now.
Yeah.
Is this a good time to try to get contracts? Is this a good time to try to, expand your capacity when it seems like the doors are being slammed shut on Black businesses?
Yeah. So I'm an innovator at heart. So I like to promote the optimism of innovation. And within those constraints, you gotta make something happen. And so that's our we feel like the demand for our services has increased as a result of the political climate, so to speak. So that's something that that's what we're.
I would also imagine that in an anti-DEI climate, which I say DEI is the new N-word, you have to dot your I's and cross your T's even more. You got to make sure your paperwork is tight even more than you might have before.
Yes, for sure. You definitely, and like I said, this program is about that. Day one, you're coming in, you're getting assessed, certifications, helping you get those things in place, so that we're trying to increase the probability for success and eliminate the option of them telling you no. And so that's what the program is about.
That's a good goal. It says here you guys have got, this according to your data, Ascend LA, that you guys have got $58 million that you've helped folks in LA County to secure in terms of contracts.
Correct. So like I said, the other day we had an info session, and I decided to reach out to our alum. Some of our alum came on and talked about, when they came into the program, like I said, there was missing pieces, and now they're kind of on autopilot, securing $10 million opportunities. So, but yeah, the energy and excitement around the games and things like that is just a huge, billions of dollars are going to be coming into the community. And so we just want to make sure that folks out there have opportunity, to seize that moment. So
Yeah, that you're ready.
Yeah.
How would a business or individual, it's only businesses, right? How would a
Yes.
business
Well,
get
it's nonprofits. We did open it up to nonprofits
Oh,
because
okay.
nonprofits go after government contracts as well, so we can help them as well. But yeah, like I said, typically we're looking at businesses that are, in the range of $1 million. Now, I will say this: if you check a majority share of those eligibility requirements, and you can go to ascendla.org/apply, and you can see the eligibility requirements. But yeah, if you check the box on a majority of those eligibility requirements, you might be around a little bit below the revenue threshold. I encourage you to go ahead and apply. We'll assess it. If you got a good nuts and bolts in your business, we'll definitely consider you.
So you should go ahead and apply through the website. Is it too late for this next cohort?
No. So now time is getting short. The window's closing. We actually need you to apply before 11:59 p.m. on Friday, March 28th. So
Tomorrow. No, day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow. Yeah,
It's Wednesday,
2 days.
Dominique.
Yeah.
Get ahead of yourself. Yeah, so you basically have 2 days.
Yes.
But it
yes.
sounds like it's not that complicated.
It's not. Yeah, it's not that complicated.
And that cohort kicks off in April.
In April 9th is our kickoff. By April 3rd, my birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday.
But April 3rd is when we'll notify the folks that you got selected. So, yeah, pretty quick turnaround.
So you have a master's in legal studies from Sandra O'Connor School of Law at Arizona State.
Yes.
You got your BA from University of Missouri. And you have certificates, including one from Harvard Business School.
Correct.
Your bio says one of the things you help folks do is get into a mindset, a wealth building mindset. What does that even look like? What does that mean?
Well, not to get into, all the things that I do personally, but yeah, I've always been, that's kind of how I got into this role with LISC, is helping consulting. I always got a consultative leadership style of management. And so, getting folks, I was always in a situation where I had to kind of just, like I said, go back to the innovation. So thinking differently, you're in having constraints and things of that nature in regards to business. You have to innovate and show people the way, different paths to get there. Economic development is about family sustaining jobs, things like that, getting folks in a position where they can make a positive impact on the community. And I think, LISC LA encompasses that, and that's kind of how I got in this role. Is it's a culminating it's a culmination of all of my education and experiences.
Of course, LISC does a lot of things. Affordable housing, small business help is just one of them.
Yes.
Sports and recreation, health, green development, education. That's a long list of stuff.
Yes.
But Ascend is one specific program that we're focused on today. You have till Friday to apply for this cohort. If you missed this one, how often does a new one come around?
So we will have another one coming up in 2026. So if you don't get in this one, get those puzzle pieces together.
It's more like an annual thing.
Yeah.
You get in, you've got a 6 months intensive program.
Yes.
And then connecting people with capital, it says, is one of the main goals. And from what I've seen, Black businesses in particular have a hard time accessing capital.
Yeah.
So how do you teach that? I mean, it seems like, why do we have trouble? Is it because we don't have the knowledge? Is it racism? Is it something else?
I mean, here's a good analogy is, you remember with the PPP loans, you just don't have those pieces together, right? And so the accounting, so some businesses can just call the accountant, hey, here's our paperwork, and they're ready. So the thing about Ascend is we're getting you contract ready. if you're contract ready, you can you most likely are bank ready as well. So that's what the plus is. It's kind of twofold. You're getting contract ready, but at the same time, our goal is to get you, bank ready as well. To access multiple ways to get access to capital, like I said, and that comes through the coaching. And then once you have the coaching, we get you in a position where you can get these contract opportunities. And it's free too. It's free for those.
That's an important point.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to ascendla.org/apply.
That's correct.
ascendla.org/apply. Well, I'm grateful that you've come in and shared this information with us this morning. It certainly seems like there's a lot of different, components to this.
Yes.
The list works with under-resourced communities. So there's a lending aspect, there's a finding grants and applying for contracts aspect. It sounds like it's a pretty comprehensive kind of training / readiness program.
Yes, definitely. And our partners are CMG Alliance, which is that big number you mentioned, the $58-59 million in contracts. They're the ones that really do the hand holding and get you in a position where you can get those opportunities. Again, the world class, got access to the world class faculty over at Loyola Marymount. I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors. JP Morgan Chase primarily, Capital One, T-Mobile, Gates Foundation as well, through our partnership with the Get in the Game LA coalition, which a couple of our partners are LA Chamber and Vermont Slauson EDC, as well as Next Street. So just want to make sure, but yes, at the end of the day, Ascend LA is about, building wealth, and long-term wealth. So, I'm excited about this, ready to get this off the ground, and hopefully go ahead and apply. Like I said, don't miss this opportunity. You got a couple of days to get your applications in. But yeah, it's an opportunity.
Don't disqualify yourself. Go ahead and apply.
Don't disqualify.
And maybe you can qualify.
Yeah, let us look at it.
Yeah, Jabbar Wesley, thank you so much for coming in today and sharing this great resource for, this is nationwide, or right now you're calling for people from LA?
So Ascend is a nationwide.
Right.
So we have Ascend New York,
Right.
Atlanta, but we're the Los Angeles chapter. Yeah.
Okay, so LA businesses, time to get it together. Let's get it
Yes.
together and get some knowledge and information. That is really key to wealth building. Thank you for joining us on this Wealth Building Wednesday.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Dominique.
Perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima. You know where you're at. We don't black down. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. We've got a lot to talk about.
On January 7th, 2025, the Eaton Canyon Fire scorched Altadena, torching everything in its path. Homes, wealth, and legacy burned in one night. But will Altadena rise from the ashes? I'm James Farr. On The Conversation Live, Altadena Rising, we're chronicling the recovery, the resilience, and justice for the nation. This is the show of record, unapologetically progressive. We're not blacking down. So join me, James Farr, on The Conversation Live, Altadena Rising, every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific, with the rebroadcast on Sunday at noon.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The revolution will not be televised.
What's up? It is Killer Mike, also known as Michael Render, and I'm encouraging you to listen to more, not less, of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Senator Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text PEC to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text PEC to 321321. That's PEC to 321321.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
And it's the perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580, no matter what you have on your mind. I feel like there's so many stories breaking, and I'm not going into flood the zone mode, but I am trying to keep us abreast of what's going on, at least, even as we focus on what we want. You can call me, though, at 800-920-1580 and jump in the convo that's already started or start one of your own. Right now we're going to Fahima from Washington, D.C. Good morning, Queen. Fahima, you there?
How are you today?
There you are.
Habarigani and K Pasa, Dominique. How are you today, my sister?
I'm blessed. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, I just wanted to expand a little on that conversation you were having with Attorney Nardi Jeffries. So I'll just say this. Many years ago, I dated a gentleman from Antigua who happened to have been undocumented. And he had came to the U.S. for his sister's wedding. He decided, he wanted to stay. And he was a chef. He worked in a number of restaurants. And, of course, unfortunately, he wasn't able to open a bank account. And he pretty much operated, as they say, working under the table as a chef. And, yes, undocumented people they pay rent, they engage in commerce, and they contribute to society. But it would be folly for someone who's undocumented to go and file taxes. And so I think the Trump administration is thinking they're going to get a listing of, okay, these are all the undocumented people who are in the country without papers, and these are where they are. They're not filing with the IRS. Yes, they contribute to the economy because they buy clothes, they pay utilities, and they contribute to the economy. But for the most part, they're living in the shadows because they don't want to call attention to themselves. It's just like the whole nonsense about undocumented people voting illegally. These folks are not trying to call attention to themselves. They're just trying to take care of themselves and stay below the radar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense, which is why, and we didn't get to talk about this with Nana Gyamfi, but it to me, this whole idea of a registry, a national registry, doesn't make any sense at all. Who's going to sign up for a national registry? Sign here to be deported. But then if you don't do so, it sounds like you will be considered a criminal, and you can then become one of the folks that are being deported for being a criminal.
Yeah, that's probably the effort to criminalize folks. But, they're like, what people don't understand, because I've worked in the healthcare industry, and I've worked and lived in what are known as sanctuary cities. And many people who are undocumented, they're reluctant to go to get some of the services they are entitled to. And it makes sense to provide health insurance to folks who are undocumented, because you don't want to have people with communicable diseases spreading them. But many of them are reluctant. We have we have health insurance, which comes from separate funding for people who are undocumented in one of the cities that I'm in. And many of them are very nervous and they're reluctant because they're trying to stay below the radar. They don't want any trouble, And so, this notion that the IRS has a listing of undocumented people is just completely absurd.
Well, whatever they do have, they're handing over. So whether that's accurate or not, kind of isn't the point. As far as I know, it's the first time that the IRS has actively collaborated with ICE, and that's just it's leveling up invasion into your data, whether it's accurate or not, and whether it's on the IRS or the Social Security, which I think hardly any, if any at all, undocumented folks could even get into. But wherever that is, and it's apparently now not just folks that are undocumented, but green card holders and other people who have visas who are being detained and deported. So that could, who knows? I mean, it's like the Chicago car wash worker who was deported by ICE last week. The guy is a U.S. citizen. He's not a green card holder. He's not even a refugee or someone holding a visa. He is a passport holding U.S. citizen and still was detained by ICE. I guess looking Mexican was his crime. And he was detained for over a week, if my understanding is correct. So I think all of these things, wherever you are on immigration, whatever your thoughts are on immigration, it's worth paying attention to what's going on. Even just a conversation about bringing your phone in and out of the country. To me, it's scary. I like to travel, but I don't like to be detained.
Well, lastly, Dominique, there have been a number of academics who are being targeted. And, of course, if you are a university professor and you're holding a distinguished chair, you obviously are in the country legally. I will send you the article concerning that, but there are a number of
we've talked about it already. I mean, I have been tracking that. And some of them are green card holders, and some of them are longtime residents, who are here legally on study permits and all kinds of other conditions. So clearly there is an aggressive attempt to go outside the norms. Revoking green cards and visas because people protested over Palestine is so obviously unconstitutional. I don't even think you need to read the Constitution to know it's unconstitutional. But it is currently happening, and I just want us to be aware of it.
Right. Some of these folks that are saying, yay, good, get them up out of here, they don't understand. We may very well be next, and I'll just land there.
Yep. News, traffic, and sports, then more. Call me now. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. U.S. Intel chiefs are back on Capitol Hill after a journalist was mistakenly included in a chat about striking Houthi targets. Yesterday's Senate testimony on global threats was overshadowed by this error. Today, they will testify before a House committee. Starting this week, Social Security will withhold 100% of any overpayments made to recipients. The withholding will last until the amount is repaid. The policy change goes into effect tomorrow. Fires in western North Carolina, known as the Black Cove Complex Fire, have burned over 6,000 acres in Polk County. Henderson County residents are being told to evacuate, and a red flag warning is in effect this afternoon. And Black Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy is suing his ex-fiancée for assault, extortion, and property damage worth over $150,000. The 21-year-old seeks up to $1 million in damages. He was recently arrested for domestic assault, but no charges were filed. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Change the way you see the world at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. Depart from their new Safari Excursions Depot and embark on a once-in-a-lifetime experience you'll never forget. Plus, every adventure helps support wildlife worldwide. Plan your visit to the San Diego Zoo Safari Park today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers have accepted an invitation from President Trump to be honored at the White House for winning the World Series last season. The celebration is scheduled for April 7th when the Dodgers are in D.C. to play a 3-game series against the Washington Nationals. Mookie Betts, the only black player on the Dodgers roster, said he's undecided if he'll join his teammates for the White House visit. When Betts was with the Boston Red Sox in 2018, he skipped the team's White House visit after the Red Sox won the World Series that year during Trump's first term. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts, one of only 2 black managers in Major League Baseball, said he plans to join the team at the White House. In an interview in 2019, near the end of Trump's first term, Roberts said if the Dodgers win the World Series that year, he would not go. Roberts has been a strong advocate for diversity in Major League Baseball. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader. Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their programs. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LIVEYOLIFE32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At Exquisite Family Mortuary, we know how overwhelming it can be planning a meaningful farewell for your loved one. Secure your peace of mind by calling Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. From traditional funeral services to memorials to direct cremation, pre-needs, and more. Call Charlotte White at Exquisite Family Mortuary for Southern hospitality in Southern California. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. Exquisite Family Mortuary is located nearby in Inglewood, California. Exquisite Family Mortuary, where your loved one becomes our loved one. We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
You are, and we're glad you're here. So much going on. So The Atlantic, the publication that had one of its journalists inadvertently added to a group chat with the Secretary of Defense and a bunch of other folks sharing sensitive information about U.S. Military plans, has gone ahead and released that information. It's gone ahead and released those text messages which were shared on Signal. Signal is an encrypted, communications messaging system that it's not military grade. Let me just put it that way. Any person can get it at the App Store. It's supposed to be more secure than regular texting, but it's not military grade, right? And apparently there was a whole chat going on. There's testimony yesterday about it, testimony today. Jeffrey Goldberg is obviously the journalist. And they said they were withholding some of the messages, the Atlantic did, because they were concerned about national security. Well, today they went ahead and published those text messages, and the magazine says basically they're saying it's because Hegseth and others were lying on them. They say Secretary of Defense saying that there were no war plans discussed on the text thread, and the CIA Director John Ratcliffe, and then Tulsi Gabbard, who's the Director of DIN, claiming that no classified information was included was not true, and that is why they decided to go ahead and print these text messages. Trump's trying to play it off, saying it's not a big deal. They're just getting back at me because we've had 2 perfect months, LOL. That's why they dared the Atlantic, and the Atlantic called their bluff. And so, according to what I'm seeing here, it does have classified information, timing about when aircrafts would launch and when they would strike Houthi targets. And so we see our vice president lying in real time. He says, nobody's texting war plans. I know exactly what I'm doing, except you did text war plans, and now it's been confirmed despite what Trump and others say about the Atlantic, a quite well-respected publication. Let's go to Willie calling us from Orlando. Good morning, Willie.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you doing this beautiful day?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I can't complain, enjoying this beautiful weather we're having here in Florida. I hope that Cali's weather is as beautiful as this. I came to lay on the KBLA couch. Shout out to my KBLA family. Shout out to my good sister Fahima. I came to lay on the couch about the topic that you just mentioned. The incompetence of this administration is on full display, like it hasn't been before, but now we're sitting back looking. And I hope that the Atlantic can survive this without having an attack from the government about releasing it. You know what I'm saying? Because they sort of set them up for it. It's kind of like, okay, no, it wasn't nothing confidential. Then I'm looking at the hellscape, Twitter, X or whatever people want to call it, right? And I'm like, y'all got the time that y'all was going to bomb particular places on this chat. This is stuff that's supposed to be discussed in a skit somewhere. You know, we are not supposed to be privy as the American public to what times y'all are going to bomb people. And they're not supposed to be either. And we're talking, regardless of whatever they want to say about this was secure, that was secure, blase-fleet. We know that the owners of those apps can get to that information. Yep. Therefore, any government that, let's just say China, let's just say Saudi Arabia, that wants to sit back and has $1 billion to give.
Let's just say Iran. Can you say Iran? Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and this is
what I'm
And Signal, Signal to me, like that's an app that kids can hack. You don't need, world-renowned cybersecurity I bet you my son can hack Signal.
There probably are 18 and 19-year-olds that work for Elon Musk that can sit back and go in here and hack this. I mean, just every single day that we're inside of this administration, it just seems more and more worrisome about what we are going to do, and then the response on the right to things like Jasmine Crockett calling that governor Hot Wheels and stuff like that. This is what you want to do. This is what you want to attack, instead of sitting back and being on the president saying, "Hey, you're messing up the economy. Hey, you're putting Americans in a bad light. Hey, you're making us look stupid," because that's what I am betting every government around the world is saying. This administration is stupid, and our enemies are going to take full advantage of the fact that this administration's incompetent. So I just needed to come to the couch and say that. Like, I cannot believe that this has happened. I cannot believe how they are trying to sweep it under the rug. And the way they was looking at their Senate hearing was like a deer in headlights, especially the lady. I forgot what her name is.
Tulsi Gabbard, the Russian op,
like
Tulsi Gabbard. But here's
the Russian autopsy Galba. And I'm sitting back talking to people this morning, and I'm like, America's already been compromised because we already know about Russian agents that we have as senators and as House representatives. We already know that. But now right, now we're at a whole nother level where we don't have no guardrails at the top. We don't have no watchdogs at the top. These people are running rampant with the information, giving out our information, all of these security leaks. And you can't tell me that this would have happened underneath the Harris administration. There is no way you'd be able to tell me that. So this is the FAFO on a national security level.
On a global
which is by
level.
far one of the greatest threats there is.
Right. So the National Security Advisor, Mike Wall, says he takes responsibility, but then pivots immediately and says, well, I didn't add this guy Goldberg to the chat, so we're going to investigate. Like the guy somehow cracked the code and got into their group chat. No, your dumb behinds just probably had autocorrect and it filled in the wrong, Goldberg or something. I don't know, but
it could very well be that. It could be very well the administration was trying to set up the Atlantic for some other nefarious plots that they have.
I suppose that's right. We know they're going after today. They're targeting the New York Times for their immigration reporting, and they've already extorted millions of dollars from several, CBS, ABC, and that that list goes on. So, an attack on an organization like The Atlantic, which of course famously published, one of the most eloquent and convincing arguments for reparations in the history of the world, is not really outside what could be credibly argued. I mean, it's definitely something they do.
Exactly. And I'm hoping that Americans are paying attention, even though most of them aren't, that as these attacks come on to the free press and to the media for reporting, and we see that the Trump this administration is trying to penalize them for accurate and on-point reporting, not being, let's say, a Fox News or anything like that just to sit back and make up excuses for anything that they do. We are descending into fascism each and every step that they take. And I hope that the American people wake up and realize this, to understand that there's some resistance that has to happen. We got 2 seats here in Florida. There's 1 seat in New York. I believe there's another seat in Texas and maybe another seat somewhere else that can swing the balance of power within the House and the Senate.
Yeah, we got a few over here in Cali, too. Yeah, we got some in Cali. Right. Meanwhile, the president and his new Confederate MAGA Republican Party have signed, he's got another executive order to restrict your voting rights. And you're going to have to prove that you're a citizen to vote, not just like with a driver's license or whatever. You either are going to have a birth certificate or a passport. And so at the same time, that we are seeing crackdowns on the press, which I associate with authoritarianism and fascism, the crackdown on academic freedom, deporting students and professors for simply protesting on behalf of Palestine with no illegal activity whatsoever. At the same time, you're coupling that with an executive order to make it harder for you to vote. It's really real basic authoritarian stuff. I don't even think it's tricky. I thought they were going to be more tricky and try to be like, you're paranoid. That's hyperbole. Of course we're not going to dismantle anything that helps black people in the whole country. Of course we're not going to go after green card holders and actual citizens. Of course we're not going to try to shut down your voting rights. I thought they'd say that and then sneak and do it. No, they're just like in your face, birthright citizenship. Check.
Absolutely, exactly.
Freedom of the press, check. Yeah, right.
They don't have to hide it anymore. Donald Trump has made it very easy for them to be open, blatant, and honest about what they're doing. And it's sad that the American public does not have the wherewithal and the recognition to understand what's going on because we lack the ability to remember history. We lack the ability to sit back and look at other nations and how their democracies fell into authoritarianism. So unless the American people wake up, we were in trouble. And each and every time we dig deeper and deeper into it. And what this administration is doing is making sure that just in case we can flip this thing and bring it back to democracy, that it'll be very much hard to damn near impossible to put everything back in place that we've had before.
Well,
absolutely sad.
But
Absolutely
but I still hold out hope that we will put things back better than they were before. And, you wrecked everything. Now we get to rebuild it how we want it when we get rid of you. That's what I'm still hoping. There are people in these streets. There are people protesting around the world, but also in the United States. And it's not just burning up Teslas. People, veterans are protesting as they see those cuts. And as the impacts of these stupid moves get more and more noticeable to us, because we're typically the last to know, or more insulated by our middle class lifestyles than other countries are. As these impacts hit us harder and harder, they're going to see more and more protests, and you can't arrest everybody. Willie, I appreciate the call. You're welcome to our couch anytime.
I appreciate you, Dominique DiPrima. I really do. I was talking about Cali politics this morning, and just being tuned into your show helped me to add and contribute to that conversation. So thank you for everything that you're doing. I appreciate you. Shout out to the brothers and sisters in Cali. I'll holler.
Do that. Willie called me at 800-920-1580, and you can do the same. We've got the rest of this hour to talk. We're going to be speaking with Ben Caldwell of Chaos at Lamert Park. Next hour, it's a great day around here. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
They say the hardest part of getting something done is getting started. Well, we did that 30 years ago when California first took on the tobacco industry. Now, smoking is down 60%, lung cancer 42%. A couple of our cities have already ended tobacco sales. A California without big tobacco isn't just possible, it's already happening. See our progress at undo.org.
A new day is on the horizon. Behind every great moment in history, there's a woman whose story went untold. This March, KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates the trailblazers who changed our world. From Rosa Parks to Constance Baker Motley, from Katherine Johnson to Kamala Harris, these are the voices that broke barriers, challenged limits, and reshaped America. Join us all month long as we honor the women who dared to dream, fight, and lead. KBLA Talk 1580, amplifying women's stories that inspire generations.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Bam! Out of nowhere. Crashed, hurt, don't panic, don't wait, don't call your insurance company. Call 877-CARE-LAW, the car accident attorneys who care about your case and win you the big money you deserve. Car accident, serious injury, other firms just handle cases. We own them at 877-CARE-LAW. We're the premier injury law firm with a powerhouse team of medical experts who prove your injuries, fight for your rights, and get you to max payout fast. No fees unless you win. Dial 877-CARE-LAW now or visit 877carelaw.com.
877-CARE-LAW, 877-CARE-LAW. Hurt in a crash, don't stall, just call 877-CARE-LAW. Faster wins, bigger pay. After an accident, call right away. 877-CARE-LAW, 877-CARE-LAW.
Car accident, injury, don't call your insurance company. Call one team, one win. 877-CARE-LAW. Call now or go to 877carelaw.com.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
Yeah, so it looks like the sort of early beginnings of a parade of things we've never seen before happening out of Washington. And as the Atlantic decided to go ahead and basically call out Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, and others who are lying to Congress by printing those text messages or signal messages that were accidentally shared with Jeffrey Goldberg. He's their editor-in-chief. He thought they were fake at first. Clearly, the strike times, I guess you could say technically what the vice president said was true because he didn't disclose the entire war plan. But these are the times we're planning to strike. Is typically very highly classified. This is a problem with your DEI hire for all white men. The United States also now saying that they're going to terminate this organization, the support for this organization called Gavi, which helps buy vaccines for kids in low-resource countries. So things like malaria, which kills a ton of people, HIV, tuberculosis, various vaccine support that we've given around the world. The administration is now saying we're not going to pay for that anymore. And again, it's a small world. Nothing stays here. If you didn't know it before COVID, we should know it now. Oh, COVID's in China. It'll never come here, 3 months later. Like everybody here has on a mask. The whole thing is locked down. And the diseases travel. It's just unbelievable to me that this is what you would choose to eliminate. Supreme Court is now upholding the Biden administration's limits on ghost guns, the so-called ghost guns, where you can put together pieces of a gun that you could get off the internet, largely plastic parts, and create an untraceable weapon. But apparently the Extreme Court has decided that they are going to uphold this regulation of guns, ghost guns. Very surprising outcome there. Let's go to Paul calling us from LA. Good morning, Paul. Paul, you
Good morning,
with me?
Dominique. How you doing?
I'm good. How are
morning.
you?
I'm doing pretty good. I had to hop on. My brother Willie hopped on the line. Big salute to Willie. I love that call he just gave you.
Yeah, he had a lot of great stuff to say.
Yeah, I wanted to, real quick, because I know we don't have much time, I wanted to bring a couple things to people's attention that's actually transpiring with not just Doge and Elon and Trump, but what the administration is doing, and just to kind of give the context overall with what the strategy is. Those people and a lot of those Confederates and their descendants, right, have a ideology of they would rather times go back to the original founders, whereas the original founders believed that the slave owners, the property owners, and the landowners would have the right to vote, whereas women and obviously black people, we were considered 3/5 of a person, wouldn't have the opportunity to vote. So when you're watching a lot of this transpiring right now, as they shrink the government, as for example, and most people may not be aware of this, that when he gave that open invitation with gold cards to foreign people, predominantly white Europeans and those South Afrikaners, when he referred to them, that over 60 to 70,000 applicants from South Africa, from those white people, came in here. So why would they push a certain group of people out, melanated people, and bring in more white-centric people into the country?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to run up their numbers while they decrease the numbers elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That tracks with birthright citizenship. And it also tracks with the restricting of all of these, what Attorney Nana Jomfy said, 28 out of 43 countries on the you can't come here anymore list are majority black countries. So if you look at the fact that in recent years, the largest growth of the black population in this country is immigrants, it tracks that if you're trying to keep from being overtaken. I think it's 2040. We're supposed to be no longer a minority. It's supposed to be majority, minority. If you're trying to stop that, aside from Elon Musk having as many babies as he can possibly have, restricting the entry of black migrants is one way to do that, right?
Right, and think about exactly what they've done. They're essentially this is all for these tax cuts. If you look this through history, Rome, you look at what's transpiring in real time here. The richest of the rich have essentially accumulated not only wealth but resources also, and they've commoditized basically our livelihoods. So in reality, as we're living a Gilded Age 2 right now, they're okay with it because their voters in those rural areas, predominantly those rural areas, which have the worst education, which have some of the worst living conditions and health disparities. And in Florida, they're talking about reenacting where children ages 14 to 16 can work overnight, can work during school hours. So why would they do that?
I mean, that's been a trend. Arkansas, there's a number of states under Republican governors that have been loosening up child labor laws. Why is your question?
Yeah, they're doing it because they're and it's going to be white people in here too. A lot of poor white people are going to learn from this too. See, before Social Security, a lot of people don't know there were poor white people. Those social programs.
There are still poor white people, for the record.
Yes,
lots and lots of them.
Yeah. Yes, and the cold part about it is they run a narrative, and that's not true. In the 60s and 70s, black people, about almost 60% of us were living in poverty. In today's time, that is 17. So when it came to equity and growth, in real time, we watched the white backlash happen again. So that's why January 6th happened, and that's why they're doing what they're doing today. It's a backlash based on anti-black rhetoric and anti-black growth economically.
Yeah, it's well said. And this cracking down, you have to look at the racial component, the list, the deportations, and that's why I also think we need to pay attention to this deportation to foreign countries. I can't think of something a white supremacist would love more than sending a bunch of black imprisoned persons to a country where they can be beaten, tortured, and given no rights. A historically racist country like El Salvador, for example.
Right. And look at it this way. Those images that you're seeing in real time that people are laughing at tells me people don't know history. They are following the exact same playbook that Hitler did. But here's the coldest part about what happened and transpired with the Holocaust. They came here to the U.S. and learned what was going on from these white people enslaved then and took it back there. So those images that you're watching in real time, do not think that doesn't include us also. They snatched up the sister that was a black activist and deported her too.
Yep.
So don't think it's going to target a certain group. They're going after anything that's not white. And I would say white male, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. And it's just the beginning. I mean, what is this, 2 months? Are we at a little over 2 months now? It's just the beginning. I'm doing my best to stay on team. We got this, and I do believe we got this, but we have to know. And that's why I always appreciate, Paul, you sending me articles and calling in here and sharing in the chat all of the stuff that you're tracking. So thank you for that.
Definitely, Dominique. And everybody have a great day. Looking forward to hour 3.
Leimert Park legend, one of the greats, Ben Caldwell, joins us next. It's a chaotic hour 3 on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. U.S. Intel chiefs are back.